Welcome back to Easy English Talk Podcast.
Have you ever felt like your mind is racing in 10 different directions, pulling you away from what matters most? You're not alone. Today, we're discussing how to control your mind. Welcome to Easy English Talk Podcast. I'm Ryan, and with me is Priya.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here with us today. This topic is so important because our minds can feel like wild horses sometimes, and learning to guide them can completely change how we live.
Exactly. And here's why this matters to you right now. Most of us feel distracted, anxious, or overwhelmed at some point every single day. If you stay with us, you'll learn simple, practical ways to take back control and feel calmer.
That's the value right there. Real tools you can use today. We're not talking about complicated meditation techniques or things that take years to master. We're talking about clear steps that work in your everyday life.
Perfect. So let's start with the real problem first. Why do so many people struggle to control their own minds? What's going on inside our heads that makes this so difficult?
Well, our brains are designed to think constantly. That's their job. But the problem is, most thoughts just happen automatically without us choosing them. We react instead of respond. We follow every distraction that pops up.
Right. So it's not that we're broken or lazy, it's just that we were never really taught how to manage our thoughts. Most of us go through life letting the mind do whatever it wants.
Exactly. And that leads to worry, stress, and feeling out of control. Your mind starts to feel like a noisy room where everyone is talking at once. You can't focus, you can't relax, it's exhausting.
So the first thing we need to understand is this. Your mind is not you. Your thoughts are just mental events. They come and go. You don't have to believe every thought or follow every feeling.
That's such a powerful shift. When you realize you're not your thoughts, everything changes. You can watch them instead of being controlled by them. It's like standing on the side of a river instead of being swept away by it.
I love that image. So how do we actually start doing that? What's the first step someone can take today to gain more control? Let's get practical here.
The first step is awareness. You have to notice what's happening in your mind. Most people go all day without ever stopping to check in with their thoughts. Just pausing and asking, "What am I thinking right now?" is huge.
So simple, but most people never do it. We're just on autopilot, reacting to everything around us. But once you start noticing your thoughts, you create a little space.
Yes, and that space is where the power lives. In that moment of noticing, you're no longer trapped inside the thought. You're observing it, and that gives you choice.
Okay, so awareness is step one. What comes next? Once I'm aware of my thoughts, what do I actually do with them? Do I push them away? Do I argue with them?
No, pushing them away usually makes them stronger. Instead, you acknowledge them. You say, "Okay, that's a thought." You don't judge it, you don't fight it, you just see it clearly.
So it's like being a calm observer instead of a stressed reactor. You're not saying the thought is good or bad, you're just noticing it's there and letting it be.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Most thoughts will fade on their own if you don't feed them. When you stop arguing with your mind or trying to force it to be quiet, it actually settles down naturally. Resistance creates tension. Acceptance creates calm.
That's really interesting. So fighting your thoughts makes them stick around longer, but just watching them lets them pass through. It's almost like thoughts are clouds moving across the sky.
Perfect analogy. You wouldn't try to grab a cloud or push it away. You'd just let it drift by. Same with thoughts. The more relaxed you are about them, the less power they have.
All right, so we've got awareness and acceptance. What's the next tool? How do we go deeper and actually train the mind to be calmer and more focused? Is there a method that really works?
Yes, and it's something almost everyone has heard of, but few people actually practice. It's called mindfulness. But don't worry, we'll explain it simply. Mindfulness just means paying attention to the present moment on purpose.
So instead of thinking about the past or worrying about the future, you focus on what's happening right now. That could be your breathing, the sounds around you, or even the feeling of your feet on the ground. It's about being here, fully present.
Exactly. And the reason this works is because your mind can only truly be in one place at a time. If you're focused on your breath, you can't be lost in anxious thoughts at the same moment. It's like switching the channel in your brain.
So mindfulness is a way to redirect attention away from stressful thoughts. You're not ignoring problems, you're just choosing where to put your focus. And that choice is real power.
Yes, and you can practice this anywhere, anytime. You don't need a quiet room or special equipment. Even 10 seconds of focusing on your breathing can reset your mind.
I think a lot of people assume mindfulness has to be formal meditation, but you're saying it can be done in the middle of a busy day. Just a quick pause to bring yourself back to the present.
Absolutely. You could be washing dishes and focus fully on the water and the soap. You could be walking and notice each step. Any moment can become mindful if you bring your attention to it.
That makes it so much more accessible. Now let's talk about something else. What about negative thoughts that keep coming back over and over? You know, the ones that feel stuck on repeat.
Those are called ruminating thoughts. They're like a mental loop. The mind grabs onto something and won't let it go. And the more you try to stop it, the worse it gets.
So what's the solution? How do you break that cycle? Because I think a lot of people get trapped in that pattern. It can feel impossible to escape.
One powerful technique is to name the thought, label it. For example, if you're worrying about work, you say to yourself, "This is the work worry thought again." By naming it, you create distance. You're not inside it anymore.
So instead of being lost in the worry, you're recognizing it as a pattern. You're saying, oh, there's that thought again. It becomes less personal and less intense.
Exactly. And then you can choose to shift your focus to something else. You don't have to keep feeding that thought with attention. You can gently guide your mind somewhere more helpful.
I like that. It's gentle but firm. You're not fighting yourself. You're just redirecting with kindness. It's almost like training a puppy instead of yelling at it.
That's a great way to put it. Your mind needs gentle training, not harsh punishment. When you treat yourself kindly, change happens much faster. Self-criticism just adds more mental noise.
Speaking of training, what about building mental habits? If I want my mind to be calmer and more focused over time, not just in a single moment, what do I do? How do I make this a lasting change?
Consistency is the key. Small, regular practice beats occasional big effort. If you take just 5 minutes every morning to sit quietly and breathe, that builds a strong foundation. Over time, your mind learns to settle more quickly.
So it's like going to the gym. You don't get strong from one workout. You get strong from showing up regularly. Same with mental control. It's a practice, not a one-time fix.
Exactly. And the good news is, even a little practice makes a difference. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Your brain will start to rewire itself based on what you repeat.
That's encouraging. Now, let's talk about distractions. We live in a world full of notifications, social media, and constant information. How do we control our minds when everything around us is designed to grab our attention?
That's one of the biggest challenges today. Our environment is working against us. But the first step is to recognize that distractions are not accidents. Apps and websites are built to keep you hooked. They want your attention.
So we need to be intentional. We can't just hope we'll stay focused. We have to create boundaries and protect our mental space. Otherwise, we'll just keep getting pulled in every direction.
Right. And that means making small changes. Turn off notifications. Set specific times to check your phone. Create quiet moments in your day where you're not consuming anything. These little choices add up to big results.
So it's about designing your environment to support focus instead of breaking it. If your phone is always buzzing, your mind will always be scattered. But if you create calm spaces, your mind can relax.
Exactly. Your external environment shapes your internal state. If you want a calm mind, you need to build calm surroundings. Even small things like a tidy desk or a quiet corner can help.
That's really practical. Now, what about emotions? Sometimes our minds feel out of control because we're flooded with strong feelings. How do we handle that?
Emotions are powerful, and they can hijack our thoughts completely. But the same principles apply. First, you notice the emotion. You name it. You say, "I'm feeling angry," or "I'm feeling scared."
So again, it's about creating that observer position. You're not denying the emotion, you're just not drowning in it. You're acknowledging it clearly.
Yes, And then you can feel it in your body. Where is it showing up? Is your chest tight? Is your stomach churning? When you focus on the physical sensation, the emotion often starts to release.
So instead of getting lost in the story your mind is telling about the emotion, you just feel it. You let it move through you without resisting it. That takes away a lot of its power.
Exactly. Emotions are energy. They need to be felt, not fought. When you allow them to be there, they pass much quicker. It's the resistance that keeps them stuck.
This is all really helpful. Let's talk about another challenge. What if someone has tried these techniques, but their mind still feels chaotic? What's missing? What else can help?
Sometimes the issue is deeper than just technique. It could be lifestyle. If you're not sleeping well, eating poorly, or living in constant stress, your mind will struggle. Mental control isn't separate from physical health.
So you can't just think your way to a calm mind if your body is exhausted. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, they all matter. Your mind is part of your whole system.
Exactly. A tired brain can't focus. A stressed body creates a stressed mind. So sometimes the best thing you can do for mental control is rest, move your body, or eat something nourishing. It's all connected.
That's a really important point. People often forget that mental health and physical health work together. You can't ignore one and expect the other to thrive. They support each other.
Absolutely. And one more thing that helps a lot is limiting decision fatigue. When you make too many small decisions all day, your mind gets tired. That makes it harder to stay in control.
So simplifying your life can actually give you more mental energy. Things like planning meals ahead, creating routines, or laying out clothes the night before. These small systems free up your mind for what really matters.
Yes, your mind has limited energy. If you waste it on tiny choices, you'll have less for important things. Successful people often wear the same outfit every day for this reason. They save their mental energy for bigger decisions.
That makes so much sense. All right, let's talk about self-talk. The way we talk to ourselves in our heads can either calm us down or make things worse. How do we change negative self-talk?
First, you have to catch it. Most people don't even realize how harsh they are to themselves. They would never talk to a friend the way they talk to themselves internally. Awareness is the first step again.
So once you notice you're being critical or mean to yourself, what do? Do you just try to think positive thoughts instead, or is there something more effective?
Forcing positivity doesn't usually work. It feels fake. Instead, try speaking to yourself the way you'd speak to someone you care about. Use kind, supportive words. Be realistic but gentle.
So it's not about lying to yourself and saying everything is perfect. It's about being honest but compassionate. You're treating yourself like a human being, not a machine.
Exactly. You can say, "This is hard, but I'm doing my best." Or, "I made a mistake, and that's okay. I can learn from this." That kind of self-talk builds resilience instead of breaking you down.
And over time, that becomes your default voice. Your mind starts to speak more kindly automatically. It's about retraining that inner dialogue.
Yes, and it's one of the most powerful changes you can make. Because you live with your own thoughts every single day. If they're constantly critical, life feels heavy. If they're supportive, life feels lighter.
Now let's talk about goals and visualization. Can controlling your mind help you achieve things you want in life, or is this just about feeling calmer?
It's both. When you control your mind, you control your focus. And focus is what turns goals into reality. If your mind is scattered, you'll struggle to finish anything meaningful.
So mental control gives you the ability to stay on track. You can choose what to think about, which means you can choose what to work on. That's huge for achieving goals.
Absolutely. And visualization is a tool that uses this power. When you imagine yourself succeeding clearly and calmly, your brain starts to believe it's possible. That belief changes your actions.
So it's not magical thinking, it's about programming your mind to see success as normal. Then you naturally make choices that move you toward that success. Your mind follows the picture you give it.
Exactly. Athletes do this all the time. They visualize perfect performance before competing. And research shows it actually improves results. Your brain doesn't always know the difference between imagination and reality.
That's fascinating. So, if I want to control my mind better, I can also use it to shape my future. I can choose what to focus on and where to direct my energy. That's real freedom.
It really is. And it all starts with the basics we've been talking about: awareness, acceptance, mindfulness, and gentle redirection. These tools give you control, and control gives you choice.
Let's talk about one more thing. What about when life gets really hard? When there's a crisis or big stress, can you still control your mind, or does all this go out the window?
That's when these skills matter most. But you have to be realistic. You won't be perfect. Strong emotions will show up. But even in crisis, small moments of control can make a huge difference.
So it's not about being calm all the time. It's about finding small pockets of clarity even when things are falling apart. That's still valuable.
Absolutely. Even one deep breath in the middle of chaos can reset you. Even one moment of noticing your thoughts can stop a spiral. You don't have to be a master, you just have to try.
And the more you've practiced in calm times, the easier it is to use these tools in hard times. That's why daily practice matters. You're building mental muscle for when you really need it.
Exactly. Think of it like learning to swim. You don't want your first time in the water to be during a storm. You practice in calm conditions so you're ready when it gets rough.
Perfect analogy. All right, let's start bringing this together. We've covered a lot of ground today. What would you say is the single most important thing someone should remember from this conversation?
I'd say this: your mind is a tool, not your master. You can learn to guide it with practice, patience, and kindness. It's not about perfection, it's about progress.
I love that. And remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Start with one simple step. Maybe it's noticing your thoughts for 5 minutes a day. Small steps lead to big changes.
And be patient with yourself. This is a skill like any other. You'll have good days and hard days. What matters is that you keep showing up.
Exactly. So, to wrap up, let's remind everyone what we've talked about today. We discussed why controlling your mind is so difficult. We explored awareness, acceptance, and mindfulness as core tools.
We talked about handling negative thoughts, emotions, and distractions. We looked at how lifestyle, self-talk, and visualization all play a role. And we reminded you that this is a practice, not a destination.
The mind is powerful, but you are more powerful. You can choose where to focus. You can choose how to respond. And that choice changes everything.
Thank you so much for listening today. We hope this conversation gave you real tools you can use right away. Your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending it with us.
If you found this helpful, we'd love for you to explore more episodes on Easy English Talk podcast. We cover many topics that can support your growth and learning. Check out our channel and find something that speaks to you.
Take care of yourself and your mind. And remember, small steps every day create lasting change. We'll see you next time.
Thanks again for being here. Keep practicing, keep growing, and keep learning. Until next time, take care.